Hello people, and welcome to another edition of Friday Night Knives here on A Dose of Drew. And even though we are not on Friday, that is because we have a special event. This is the NAFS Lander. And yes, this is normally a Friday Night Knives, but that was our original landing destination. We went for the second site, which is going to be Saturday. It is exactly 8 days, 3 hours, and 19 minutes after the last video launched. So we are a full mission past there here in this nice little sea of tranquility, if you will. So yeah, NAFS Lander, this one in the all black with the D2. There's also a 14C28N in micarta that's green here. This is the Ox. This is a black stonewash or oxide coating. See if I can get it. There's the D2. It's tiny. All right, a couple of things here. This is really, really cool. And it's not as large as you might think. Quick little bit here. We're looking at 6.5 inches, you guys. It is right on the normal side there. All right, do a couple of the standards here. We're going to go with the Spyderco sandwich. As you can see, it's definitely not a large knife there compared to the PM2. And here on the Para 3, this is in the lightweight. As you can see, again, a smaller knife. Not that that's a bad thing. It is, as I will get to here in a moment, still good. Still actually quite great. And it's just a blur. Again, the blur looks massive next to it. And not just any leak, but a random leak. See, it's even bigger than the leak. It is just what you need. It is an elegant solution, as they may say. Couple bits here. Here is compared to the Benchmade Bug Out. And the Civivi Elementum. As you can see here. It's not huge. This thing just isn't a gigantic knife. And of course, one last bit here, as you can see, my Wiener is both larger, wider, and significantly thicker. So that is important to get out there. All right, so those all being said, there's one more, because this is an important thing. It's not a huge knife. And a lot of the times on big knives, 2.5 ounces. Once again, in case that wasn't 2.5 ounces on almost 3 inches of blade, 2 3/4. It's a little bit under those blade inch to ounce blade ratios everyone likes to talk about. Has great action. In fact, it's loud. One of the things I've noticed about this is that opening is fairly loud. It's just to get a thumb set. I'll get a little Spyderco astute. Well, it's not quite as loud. Another one, Civivi here, Mini Praxis. Fairly good. Let's hear that again. Just bam! It's got some authority to that opening. Let me see if I think one of the others that comes close is the Rat 2 here. And this doesn't have quite the same sound. You get some of these others, you're like, oh, maybe it's just, you start thinking maybe it's just me, and no, it's fairly loud for such a small knife. It's got an authority here, right? Fairly loud. Pretty good, huh? D2 blade is nice. This is a thin piece of stock. We'll do it on the millimeter gauge here. Slightly more than 2 millimeters, but not quite 3. I'm going with 0.01. Looks like about 2.5 millimeters there. So 0.0 or 0.1 inches, 1/10 of an inch. Right, 2.5 millimeter stock is what it looks like here. Fantastic. Nice high grind where you got this angle, gives it the slicer where you get better geometry out here at the point at the round of the belly where you get a better slicing geometry and a little bit heavier here. Just this angle, instead of following, it gives you that automatic geometry boost, and it is thin behind the edge. And honestly, it is ridiculously good for what it is. Approximately $50. And oh my goodness. A little bit of sharpness there, just to give you a little bump. It's got good stuff. That goes with the design. Standard little knife. It's just a good little drop point with the basic thing, but that's just it. If I spread my fingers out, it is just enough to give me a 3-finger grip with my pinky doing a little bit of support duty there on the back end. It goes into a pinch grip up on the studs very, very nicely. The belly gives you plenty of room if you need to do some action at an angle here. Let's see if I can't find me a. So if you need to do something at an angle, you got plenty of clearance. Gonna need to find something a little bit lighter for that. There we go. All right, you got plenty of clearance there. It's fantastic. Good little bit. The aesthetics being, it's a basic knife. Yes, it is. And I have not brought out the banter to give it as there's definitely a family resemblance on the tail end here where you got this square cutoff and the kind of the arc or the arch on the inside. You can definitely see the family resemblance, right? And I'm coming back to the design because there is the mechanics are great. It is drop shutty. The thumb studs work perfectly. Deep carry clip goes all the way deep. It goes all the way in. It goes past the end. It goes balls deep, okay? We're just going to say it like that. It goes balls deep. All right, there's just no other way. That pocket clip goes balls deep. Okay, it does. It's awesome. Now, that being said, you know, with all that said, that gets us to the noteworthy points part of the damn nice, you know, mantra here that we try and run on this channel. So it's coming into something where, in fact, let me get that back out here again. Noteworthy points, right? Damn nice. All right, so noteworthy points. One of the most noteworthy points about this is the swappable scales. If you don't know what that's like, hey, look, there's a TRM atom. You can pop off the scales, you can pop off the clip, and you can swap them without affecting the knife. And there's even another player in the game. We have the new Ahab. Okay? So we're getting a few here in this swappable scale market, or at least quickly removable scales without affecting the functionality of the knife itself. And that's a pretty cool thing, especially since you can download. And I will, if it's not there when this uploads, you guys, it will be, I will adjust it later and make sure that I get the download link. You can download the files for 3D printing or machining out your own scales. So it's free to download. You just got to have the equipment or take it somewhere. So that's really cool. It means that you can make just about any scales. So if you have any other ideas, you have a built-in market that has actually a Creative Commons type license for you to essentially prototype your idea. That's fantastic. And while there's been plenty of things, and there's really not a way to, you know, hey, look, we did this. The knives, you know, knives have been around a long time. It's not super easy to get this stuff done. Hey, NAF's just made it easier. And now with basically a lot of the TRM knives having this wonderful little thing, and things like the Ahab out here where you've got this same really clean lines, there's a lot of market opportunity out there if someone, say, had an idea for swappable inlays or something where it would adjust the handles a little bit. If someone had an idea like that and had posted online and even sent something to the TRM people. But that would be someone that shall not be named. But anyway, so yeah, that really gets into the noteworthy points right there, where that's a pretty significant. You can get one or two of these, so you can get a couple of different blade styles, and much like many other knives, I shouldn't say many other things like Honey Badger, a couple others, you get a versatility in customization that allows you to make the knife your own, and a quick swappability that really just, I mean, in something like 2 to 5 minutes in the morning, you could swap out scales, or in the evening be like, nope, that's ready for tomorrow. And now you have both a budget-friendly, good knife, D2 or 14C28, and I believe are the steels that are out there. Fantastic steel choice. Two great steel choices, right? D2 for edge retention, 14C28, and for you lose a little bit of edge retention, but you gain a little bit in quite a bit in toughness and a little bit in corrosion resistance. So it's got two very good budget-friendly steels that allow you trade-offs to pick and choose what your use case most requires. And that's pretty fantastic. And at $50, yeah, there's other knives at this price point. I mean, in fact, it's one that's going to come up quite a bit because it is significantly cheaper, something like the Mini Praxis. This is a little bit more expensive. This is D2. On a raw knife-to-knife basis, you would think the Praxis would be better. But on an EDC level, where it comes to this intended purpose, because that's what this is. This is intended to be a single knife EDC. You want to have all the value of collecting, having different knives and all that stuff, but you want to do it on a budget without thinking too much. You can get something like the Lander. Get a few different types of scales on it, a few handle scales that you can swap out, and you can get things like wood, carbon fiber. There's going to be, and there is already, a ton of handle materials that allow you to do a whole lot of customization on this knife. Whereas the Praxis is a great knife. In many ways, it's a better EDC knife as far as just cutting, comfort, its ability to do a lot of different things out there in the world. But you have to buy another one to be able to mix and match pieces. And that's something the NAF's knife doesn't do. That's something that, similar to, say, the TRM Neutron, doesn't require. You don't have to buy a new knife. You can buy a bunch of different handle scales for this, have one knife, and literally just, change your outfit, so to speak, on the fly every day. It's like wearing a different outfit, different clothes. It's like that's why they call it the Barbie of knives, right? Now we've got the Lander. And this is just really something that's good because the cost to value ratio is good, right? It's as good as anything else. It's in the $50 range. It's a massively competitive area. Things like the Covalent out there, and Heist. There's a lot of great knives out right now in that price range, which makes it extraordinarily comfortable. None of them have the specifics customization that this one does. In fact, the closest thing that gets to it is going to be a Honey Badger. And that brings me to my expectation. I expected this to be an okay EDC knife. It turns out to be fantastic. Any requests I have on it, man, it's going to be specific to, man, that would almost be, I would almost need to talk to Ben Banters himself. Ben the Banter Man himself, just to get this, because there's not a lot. There really isn't. Like the deep clip, it's standard but good. All the details are there. It's fully lined, skeletonized, but fully lined. Great thumb stud placement. Great ergonomics for such a small knife. Extraordinarily well thought out for such a relatively small knife. Just to give an idea here of the full, it's not that much different than a thumb stud Yorkie, to be perfectly honest. It's probably one of the closer, in fact, as you can see, mine have swapped clothes a little bit. It's really a lot closer to a Yorkie. It really is, in that almost that fifth pocket knife style. And that really makes it a fantastic little blade. And with its customization options, man, that is really, really, really hard to get in there. So yeah, I can see how that works. This is pretty good. And that brings it, the design is intended to be just what it is. The aesthetics don't mislead you, and the mechanics are top notch. For the price, it works as good, as smoothly. This thing has been in my pocket and been used several times now. Fairly thin blade stock, though there are definitely thinner ones out there. It's not overly thick. The geometry isn't perfect. There other ones with greater slicing geometry, this mini Praxis being a notable particular one, where it has a slightly thinner blade stock and a much taller grind. So yeah, but this is gonna do well. There's nothing extra special about it, except that there's nothing extra special. There's nothing special about it other than the handles, but the rest of it is just a good drop point knife that will do what you need it to do. It is, for all intents and purposes, a plastic piercer, a saran wrap slicer, a cardboard carver, and an envelope eviscerator extraordinaire. So it does all of those quite well. You can even get a little food prep out of it if you needed to. And that's just it. It does what it needs to do. It is unassuming in the pocket. It does what it was designed to do while giving the user a lot of customization options and the opportunity to really and truly make the knife their own. It's a fantastic value. My request would be, hey, let's talk business, Ben. I have some ideas I think you and I can both profit from. So that would be my request on there. That's really what is hard to get into. It's under 2.5 ounces. It's almost a 3-inch blade. You get D2 and 14C28N. You get in, I believe it's $50 for the D2 version, and I believe it's $60-something for the 14C28N version. So you get benefits to all of this. It even has a little a filler tab for where the I see a Tranquility got untranquil there for a moment, where the pocket clip will go in there. Man, that was a brain fart and a half. A filler tab, little details that bring the last bit of this up. There was an unboxing on here that I did on this, and I've really been impressed in just how useful the Lander is. It's light enough and small enough that I can put it in athletic shorts or something, or swim shorts or anything else. Sweats, doesn't matter. It's light enough. It's small enough. It's relatively thin enough. The pocket goes all the way down so it doesn't print. I don't have to worry about it inching its way out of my pocket. It's fantastic. It's really, really, really well done. And I can't get down. It doesn't, there's no extra bits here. There's just what you need. I don't want to say it's just enough, but I mean, it's one small step for a NAF and one giant leap for NAF kind, It's just, it really is that good. And I'm going to get ready to start wrapping this up, you guys, because much like how the original lunar lander, it took 19 minutes from liftoff to near Earth orbit, or 12 minutes, and then 7 minutes to get from the parachute's opening to splashdown. This one, I'm going to try and keep at that 19-minute, much like the in-betweens of the mission there. So we'll try and see if we can get that done. But yeah, this is fantastic. It's really hard not to recommend this knife. It's not the biggest knife, right? You got things like the Astute with a lot of your mini Praxis. There's other knives in here that are really, it's really a fifth pocket. But I'll tell you, one of the better competitions for it is, to be perfectly honest, something like a Yorkie. This is the knife that I tend to use in all the same use cases that I use the Lander. Does that make it worse or better? No. It makes it a heck of a lot cheaper. I can tell you that. It's a lot cheaper than most of the Yorkie versions I tend to get, because I like them. So yeah, there's a lot there. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, definitely good to go on the NAFs. Highly recommendable, you guys. We're in that 19-minute range, so I'm going to wrap it up because I got to tell you, this is extremely recommendable. 5 stars. The Lander's great. Go ahead, take this video, watch it twice, comment as much as you like, be mindful of side effects. Remember to like and subscribe. This has been your Dose of Drew. I am said Drew, and you guys have a great rest of your night.